Greetings, beloved, and welcome to another episode of Gloria Omnia. Thank you so much for the people that have been watching this, and I've gotten some feedback. Some people are enjoying this, and I'm really happy about that. I'd be making these even right now, especially right now when it's just beginning, but this is something I really want to do, even just for me, let alone I really like people to see this a long time from now and look back and say, that was what he was doing. So thank you for those that have kind of given some feedback on this. Last week, we talked about silliness, and it was kind of a step to get into this. Last week was just kind of a quick riff. Going to get into it in a little more depth, something a little different. So I was doing the social media swipe, and I came across a part of a poem. I didn't even know it was a full poem, let alone it had another whole part of that line. It was a poem by Robert Frost. And with this Gloria Omnia podcast, I'm really kind of setting the bar kind of high, that life has glory in it, that we can uncover that glory, that there's little bits and pieces of glory everywhere, including inside yourself and inside me. That's a big ask. I talk to a lot of people. It's my job to go from house to house, and I meet a lot of people, and I see a lot of people in different situations. And I get the feeling a lot of people don't even believe in glory. It's something that we don't talk about the word glory much. It's kind of a faded word. But that's what I'm pushing. So am I a little crazy in doing that? Is glory not as big of a thing as I think it is? Is glory something that fades? Is glory something maybe that's here for a little while? We see a flower for a while and it's pretty, but it just fades away. The glory that we have in ourselves, does it just fade away? Do we die and that's the end of it? Am I wasting my time with all this? I don't think so. But some people disagree with me. So let me read this poem. It's a poem by Robert Frost, and it kind of tries to put air out of my balloon. Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank in grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. Pretty grim. Really seems to kind of undo all I'm trying to do with this podcast, or does it? So, talking about silliness, we talked about foolishness, we talked about that silliness can also be, how did I put it? Silly-hearted, more kind of young-hearted. If youth doesn't really pass away, but we can still be young of heart even later, does that glory really slip away? And obviously when we're little kids even, and that's where it really starts to kind of fade when we're young. We bump our knee and then we're more careful. We fall down and we don't trust anymore certain things. We get opportunities, maybe as we get older, we're a teenager and we want this big job and it doesn't come through, and more disappointment. Or, there's a lot of things. When you're a kid, your favorite toy breaks and then you kind of lose that trust in the future. Wind is coming, or the light's coming and going. So is that the way life is? Do those things kind of show that glory does fade, or is that just merely disappointment stacking on top of each other and kind of hiding the things that we could be grabbing that would bring us back to glory? As we get older and older and all this disappointment kind of heaps up on ourselves, and we tend to focus on it because that's what our culture does. Like I said, even the word glory is passing away. It's not one we use much anymore. And there's a lot of language I could bring up, and I'm going to bring up in these podcasts. Interesting things, great words that are really kind of disappearing out of our culture because I think a lot of people want it to go away. They want that disappointment to be real, especially for people that are competitive against them. They don't want them to have glory because then there's more competition. But there's a lot more to it than that. But like I was saying, underneath all of this disappointment, there are tools that we can grab again. And I talked about them a bit last time. For one thing, I talked about your mind and your heart and your will. Those are tools you can grab. Those are parts of you. It's deep inside you, and it's what makes you what you are. You're human. You're not a leaf, you're not a stone, you're not something that's just going to pass away. You're human, and I think that means a lot more than even just you're like a flower and you're going to grow a bit and then you're just going to die. I think it's something bigger than that, a lot bigger than that. I think we're made in the image of God. And I'm not going to talk about religion a ton in this podcast, but actually maybe I might a bit, but that's glorious. God's not going to end. God was from all eternity, and he's going to exist for all eternity, and we were made in his image. There is a carry on part of us. We're going to carry on forever, and I think in beauty for the most part. Your mind is something that you can use. You can go out and you can learn something new. I don't care how old you are. I'm 53 years old, and I learned more this week. I had big things come across my path this week. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't. Old dogs learn new tricks. They come across new knowledge. They find new connections. They make new relationships. And I'm not just talking a person to a person, but new truths and how truths work with other truths. And glory is something you can constantly grab. It's just we get taught not to. We fear, and we don't grab glory anymore. But it is all around you. So make use of that will, find some courage. And the truth of the matter is you are going to lose opportunities again in the future. And you are going to bump your knee, or you're going to get, as you get older, some doctor's going to say you have this ailment, or you have this tendency to have these troubles. And it can bring disappointment. And there are a couple of ways to look at that. I mean, on the one hand, you can let that depress you. You can be sad about it. You can mourn when a friend leaves, or a family member dies. There's a time to grieve. There's a time to be upset. There's a time to let that stuff stack up a bit. There's a time to be sad. But do we let that prevail? When you are weak, do you not think you can get strong again? There's little things that you can do. There's little pieces of glory you can grab onto with your mind and your heart and your will. And you can move forward. And when you start that process, you just look around and see a little bit of color and take some joy in that. It's one little piece. And what it starts is another word that's really disappearing from our culture. It's gratitude. We can be grateful for that little piece of color that we see, that little truth that we run across that helps us. A little poem that I ran across by Robert Frost. That poem attacks my podcast, but I really enjoy that poem. It's kind of like we did that podcast series on Lisa Gerard's song. It's an imperfect song, and his poem's an imperfect poem. I think he's wrong. But it's a really beautiful poem, and it is true. I mean, you will see grass that fades. I got a gray beard. I got wrinkles all over my face. I've seen these videos, and I didn't realize how old I am. It's kind of been fun watching this podcast. But instead of getting depressed about that, I just grabbed it. And that's one of the things that endurance is another word. It's a great thing. Grab life. Grab it around you and grab that gratitude when you start seeing things. And when you push through hard things like mourning, being sad, loss of opportunity, your favorite toy being broken, you banged your knee when you were a kid. Move past that. Struggle through it. Move past it. Get strong. Find courage. Use your will. Grab that courage and do something great. You can do it. It's out there. It's little things to start with, and you build on it, and you build on it, and you build on it. And I've been building on it recently to get this podcast started, and I've come across some amazing things. I have some podcasts coming up that blow my mind. And I have people telling me that I tend to dig into things deeper than most of the people around them. I dug into things, I found stuff that blew me away. And they're going to be podcasts soon. So I hope you're enjoying these podcasts. I really do. And if you really think green fades, if you really do, I said that I'm a Christian. One day, the greatest green faded. It faded on a cross. He was put on a cross. He fulfilled the law of God. He was God's only beloved Son. He spoke a lot of great things. He made miracles happen. And on a cross, that green faded. And the devil thought he won. But he didn't. Easter's coming soon. It's a great holiday. It's not just about bunnies and rabbits and stuff. It's about Jesus coming back to life. And I didn't mean to really make this an Easter podcast, and I didn't mean to do an Easter podcast at all. I got something really big coming up that I think is even bigger than Easter. Easter's this big, huge celebration that we do, and I think I got something even better in store. That's coming up soon, but that green came back lastingly, everlastingly, and it's something that we can be united to. I believe that he fulfilled the law of God perfectly, and he was that beloved Son because he fulfilled that law perfectly, and because he intended to bring us that everlasting glory also. That green will not fade, that gold will not fade, that not every flower will fail, will wither and die, including us. So after I found that poem by Robert Frost, I was kind of digging into that poem, discussing its bits and pieces, and getting back that wonder of us as young children, and the wonder that we can have even as adults, even as an old, gray, bearded, wrinkled old man, that wonder that you can have again. I was discussing that poem and its different aspects and stuff, and we're doing it with AI, and AI said, yeah, we can write, what was that Shakespeare did? Sonnets. We can write sonnets and all that kind of thing, and for some reason it just crossed my mind to write a poem in response to Robert Frost. And I'm not a poetry writer. I think I do a pretty good job of writing. I got some stuff online now, my writing. I don't think it's fantastic. I've not done a lot of it. It's not like I've been published. It's not like I've written a lot of poems. I wrote some in high school, or some in college too, but that's it. And that was years and years and years ago. I'm not a poet. But that happened, and I felt urged to make a reply to Robert Frost, and I did. I posted this on Facebook already. Some of you probably already read it, but I want to finish this podcast with my poem, just because I think it's fun. It's a fun response to Robert Frost. Nature's green is gone, they say, having walked so far along the way. Yet their desire is still to grasp that youth, that should never fade when walks in truth. Two paths still set before us, one we fail, and another victorious. If we strive ourselves alone, we remain ununited to the throne. The victor's path he lonely strove, to unite us to green above. I hope you enjoyed this Gloria Omnia. Thank you so much. I love you all. It's a great thing. Hope you have a good week. We're going to have another Gloria Omnia next week. Next week, we're also going to have another Goat and Nail based. We're going to take this topic and dig into it even deeper. So I hope to see you then. And as always, Carpe Omnia. I'm going to get that right one day. Thank you.